You're watching Sun TV, broadcasting to the world from studios in Providenciales, in the beautiful by nature Turks and Caicos Islands. Sun TV, your source for real news as it happens.
I'm Toddleen Dafferlin, and thanks for watching this edition of Sun TV News. Government's plan to introduce a payroll tax in the Turks and Caicos Islands continues to meet with some stiff objection from various sections of the community. At town hall meetings that were held over the past few weeks, many persons have expressed outrage over the proposed new tax. Now, a leading pastor is planning a march against the payroll tax. During a church service last Sunday, Bishop Coleta Williams told his congregation that he was concerned about the lack of representation from the PNP government and their high taxation policies. Bishop Coleta said the PNP government, which came to power in 2012, has been given a lot of opportunities to represent the people of this country, but they have not lived up to expectation.
Enough is enough. And don't none go with me? Yes, still I'm going to follow, but I don't know about you. But I ain't paying a dime out of my paycheck if there's no representation in Turks and Caicos. I got trouble to buy sugar and lard and rice, and now I have to pay out of what I have with no representation. The devil is. And we're going to march until somebody answers. I said we're going to march until somebody answer us. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Because it is wrong. And the wrong in this country have to stop. And somebody got to stand up at least one time and say we ain't taking this not a day longer. Now listen to me, and I'm getting ready to preach the word of the Lord. We have given them all the opportunity to represent. And they have not done it. And so now the people who ain't got no horse in the race gonna have to take a stand. And so when I arrive, Lord, help me. And I'm coming home. We are going to march. And we're going to march with one message only. Not another taxation without representation.
The outspoken bishop said he will march against the payroll tax even if he has to do it alone. He also made reference to October 2011 when Dr. Rufus Ewing staged a march against the Brits before he became premier. Bishop Williams said now that Dr. Ewing has become premier, he has been a disappointment.
And when I get back here, I'm going to be like the fella who took the placard, him wanting the heat of the sun downtown. And when he got in, he in the sun, he ain't got no placard, and he ain't saying nothing no more. But I'm getting ready to stand up. Because something have to happen in this country. And the season has come for it to happen.
Meantime, government continued to get some heat at the town hall meetings. During the meeting at the Five Keys Community Center on Tuesday night, PDM appointed members in the House of Assembly, Honorable Clarence Salver, came out strong against the payroll tax. Salver said government could find more creative ways to raise money, including collecting outstanding funds from developers who were supposed to pay to assist with education.
$50 to $60 million a year. $50 to $60 million a year. Why don't we look at that cost and see how we could reduce that and see that all of those things create savings? Because when government got to pay out a small amount of money, there's less pressure to tax your people. And that is one area that we need to look at and look at seriously. The way how we've been raising taxes in this country have proven to be reliable, have proven to produce good revenues for government. To the extent that when we went in office in '95, we met a big debt there. We paid off those debts within 2 years. Government account went into credit, remained into credit until the day we left office, and we produced surpluses. Okay? And we didn't have to tax our people to death. So to come tonight to tell me you gotta introduce payroll tax to meet government expenses, I say look at some of these high costs, what we are dealing with now in the Health Canada, with the hospitals. That is one of the major drain on government resource. Deal with that. Other areas, you're talking about scholarship. Check to see how much of these developers under their development agreement owe government money. Go collect that. That should convert into millions of dollars. And we could have had a lot of our students going overseas already. Okay? Money is there to collect. I mean, for whatever reason you don't want to go after those people, that is your business. But I tell you, money is there. Go after the people. Collect the money. Ease the burden on us. Give well-deserving Turks and Caicos Islands a chance to go abroad or go into the community college. Money is there. So, I mean, those are just, and broad-based.
Salva also suggested that cruise ship passengers could be taxed.
We have 1 million people coming in this country, right? Expecting 1 million people on the cruise ship. Why not throw $12 on them? Raise one extra $12 million like that. Huh? Ease the burden on the people. Thank you very much.
Minister of Finance Honorable Washington Missick said government has been working with developers in order to get them to pay what they owe.
Amounts due from developers is also an issue that the Revenue Commissioner has been dealing with. We have actually been working with some of the developers who have arrears, and some of them have been making their payments on a scheduled basis. We still have significant amounts of money that we are working to make sure we collect. So we have been working on trying to improve the compliance, but there's a lot more to be done, and it's going to require additional manpower resources. On the issue of the calculation of the payroll tax,
businessman Philip Robinson asked the Minister of Finance if the Blue Ribbon Commission carried out any survey. Here is the exchange.
Did the Blue Ribbon Commission do any kind of consultation around the island?
the Blue Ribbon Commission was made up of both business, consumers, and government, right? The Blue Ribbon Commission did not carry out a survey, right? And so that is not to say that there were not conversations, but we did not carry out a survey.
Robinson said it would have been more appropriate if the Blue Ribbon Commission and the government had come to the people instead of forcing this new tax on them.
Hurts the small man more than the wealthy. Okay? And I really believe it would have been more genuine and more accepted if the government had felt it appropriate through the Blue Ribbon Commission to come to the people. Ask what you think will work best. You're not telling me, you're right now advising me on what's going to happen come July. You're not consulting me anymore. You're telling me, come July, this will be on your doorstep.
A woman in the audience said that the payroll tax will cause hardships and distress in our community.
It's evident of that. We had a comfortable living when we had less tax. We probably at this time isn't considering NHIP or national insurance, but in some way that is a type of tax. With that note, if we use the scenario for simplicity on $1,000, me having a nanny, I pay NIS, NHIP out of my salary. And it's like double dipping because I also have to pay that for the nanny. Those things, and now it's going to be a third one. So it'll be NHIP, NIS, and payroll tax that I have to pay out of my salary for me, and out of that same one salary for the nanny. And the presentation, I must admit, it was an excellent presentation. It can work. In theory, it's excellent. It can work. But at this present time, we have several issues that has to be addressed before something like this can be implemented. The first thing, the cost at the supermarket, before something like this is implemented, has to go down. We have not yet seen a recession. Anything else added to our salary will be recession. We had a little hiccups in our economy, but we haven't really seen the recession yet. And with something like this, I guarantee you, when people really can't make it, you're going to see the distress in our community.
Premier Honorable Dr. Rufus Ewing said government had to implement a tax system that is simple and that does not hurt the small men.
The taxation options that government had in front of us, we had to look at a number of things. One, we have to look at the consistency or reliability of collecting that revenue, which is compliance. It must be something that we have a high compliance rate, because if you don't have a high compliance rate, what will happen is that the money that government budget to collect, it will fall very much short of collecting it, and it will result in one of two things. Either you will increase the rate, which means taking more from you, or you will introduce new taxes, which we don't want to do. So you have to introduce a method that is of high compliance. You have to introduce something, especially in this day and age, that is simple to implement, very with a very little cost, and it includes something where the systems already exist. We also want to put in place something whereby the small man, when I say the small man, those persons who are less fortunate and don't have, are not impacted as much as those that have. And there are different degrees of haves. You have persons who don't have a job and don't have a cent. They may have some money, but not money that maybe somebody give them some money, or maybe they have a little fund that come to them every month, and every month they probably make $50 a week, and they take that little $50 and buy them some food, all right? Those are persons who payroll tax does not affect. So the persons who are unemployed, the persons, and probably some of those who are unemployed, will not be affected by payroll tax. So already, out of the blocks, payroll tax is way superior to VAT, GST, or any other tax whereby you increase the cost of goods in the store by 12% because you have to go in the store and actually purchase. And every man, unemployed or employed, you have to go to the store and buy goods, and it will cost you more. So that's the comparison that he was trying to make, to show you that even with payroll tax for persons making $1,000 a month, or persons making $2,000 a month, versus persons who are not making anything. The person not making anything don't pay any payroll tax. If anything, that person will benefit more, because with the other measures in terms of reducing the cost of duties, if the cost of the goods in the store go down, that person, that $50 can go even much longer way than it was if you had put in place VAT. So government had to look at a number of things. Those persons who are unemployed and small men, it had to look at the operations of business to make sure that business can survive. It had to look at government's revenue and compliance. And only after looking at all of those things, then you can make an informed decision as what is the best approach and best tax for the people at this time. If I come in a room, I will never get consensus among a group of everybody asks you, which tax do you think, which tax do you think, which tax do you think? You will never get consensus among people, all right? But I agree with you on some of the points that you make, that we did not have enough opportunity to educate you with regards to what is VAT, What is payroll tax? What is this tax? And we probably should have had more opportunity to educate persons about those things so that you can feel a part of the process and feel as if you're informed and the government is making a decision in your best interest.
Well, that's our Sun TV News Brief for today. Join us again tomorrow when we bring you real news as it happens directly to your computer, mobile device, or smartphone. If you know anyone living overseas who would like to keep up with what is happening in the Turks and Caicos Islands, get them to email us at sun@suntci.com so we can add them to our mailing list to get Sun TV News. Thanks for watching. I'm Toddleen Defferlin.